Hi everyone, it's Brett. You know what? It feels like I forgot to do something, but it probably doesn't matter. But hey, at least I remember that the game Kirby and the Forgotten Land exists. Kirby and the Forgotten Land was released on March 25th, 2022, and I'm definitely qualified to talk about the game because I've played Kirby Mass Attack before, and also Kirby was my favorite Super Smash Bros. Character to play as when I was younger. I mean, I can't get more qualified to talk about Kirby than that. This game seems to take Kirby in a whole new environment than his normal happy and sunshine world he lives in. The game starts off with his nice little world being messed up by a super scary vortex-like storm that takes Kirby and the Waddle Dees to an unknown location. Kirby has to save the Waddle Dees that got captured, and there's a flying mouse that's Kirby's new sidekick. There is a Waddle Dee town that expands as more Waddle Dees are saved. You get mini-games, shops, and other things in the town. It's super fun to see the town grow. I think it's clever for Kirby to have to save his enemies from the previous games. They are also so funny. I mean, look at these dudes. The whole game setting is centered around a lost civilization. Kirby and lost civilization are two things that I would not think about putting together, but it's pretty cool. There are all these abandoned old buildings and plants on them and roads that have also suffered the same fate. It's neat, but it really is mysterious when I think about it. What happened to the people who once lived here? Did they all die to some catastrophic event? Did there happen to be some plague that wiped out everyone? Wait a second, I forgot. This is a Kirby game. I'm sure everyone who once lived here just all went on a very, very long vacation. We might not know all the answers, but I do know that mouthful mode is fun, even though Kirby looks to be in an incredibly unnatural state every time. There are so many creative things to be. He can almost swallow a whole car. You might be wondering, why doesn't Kirby just drive a car like a normal person? Well, he doesn't have a driver's license, and him driving a car would be illegal. But putting over half your mouth on a car and moving the car around is definitely not even close to be considered driving. Kirby is just following the law. Another fun mouthful thing for Kirby to be is a cone. This has got to be one of the most terrifying things Kirby's enemies will ever see in their existence. Yes, I do like Lightbulb Kirby. The light source is coming from inside of him. That's neat. Wait, Kirby? How in the world are you even turning on that thing? Water Kirby is just so relatable. I drink water all the time. But, oh goodness, Kirby, don't choke on all that water, you're drinking too much! All of the mouthful powers are pretty fun to use. All the levels that implement them do a great job fully utilizing the unique moveset for each of them. Of course, there is pretty much only one move each mouthful power has, so that makes fully utilizing them pretty easy, but this is a Kirby game. His games are just known to be very simplistic. Even though the mouthful powers are really basic, they are still very fun to use for the most part. Kirby still has his normal copy abilities as well in this game. That means he can eat an enemy out of existence and take its only personality trait. These abilities are creative and also fun to use. I believe a lot of these abilities came from some of his previous games, but I'd assume there might be some new ones thrown in there if I had to guess. What I found to be really cool is that it is possible to upgrade the copy abilities to make them stronger, along with making them look different and distinct from one upgrade to the next. In order to unlock these upgrades, you have to get these star stone things that are collectible when you complete a short minigame like level that centers around one of the copy abilities or mouthful powers. This gives a good incentive to play some of the side content for the game and allows the developers to use the ability's potential to the fullest. A blueprint is also needed to upgrade these copy abilities. I think the first upgrade to the fire ability, which looks like a lava chunk from a volcano, is my favorite. Spitting out lava is super satisfying, and Kirby can do a dash attack to go a lot faster. Also, Kirby's lava rock hat looks so tasty? I don't know how to effectively describe it, but I like the look of that copy ability's hat. One detail I absolutely admire is how whenever mouthful mode is activated, Kirby still has the copy ability hat on him. It's not very often, if ever, that I can keep my power up in a game while using a different one at the same time. Sure, you can't do anything with the copy ability in mouthful mode, but it's so nice not to lose my power up. I'm very used to getting one power up in a game and losing the other that I just had. So when I started this game, I automatically assumed that I'd lose my power up when in mouthful mode, but I was pleased to see that my ability was ready to go after I was done using mouthful mode. Also, Kirby just looks so funny with his copy abilities on him when he's trying to swallow more than he can eat. When it comes to the main levels, I think they were done pretty well. They are very fun to traverse around. There are plenty of secrets to find throughout all of them. There are also some mini challenges found in the levels too, and it is equally as fun finding them as it is beating the challenges. All of the levels have the same theme of abandoned and wrecked stuff people made. This could be seen as repetitive and lazy, but personally, I really like the consistency by sticking with this theme. I believe it is possible to be a lot more creative by placing restrictions and sticking to them. And I think the developers of the game did just that by not only having an abandoned city, but also an old mall, some sort of rundown sea factory, shut down amusement park, and more. I will point out that the levels are incredibly easy, especially the levels in some of the first worlds. I mean, come on, it's not even possible to fall off a cliff in the beginning sections of the game sometimes. I'm pretty positive that's an edge that I can fall off of. I think the game could have been a little bit more difficult in my opinion. But it is important to note that this game was made for any type of person who plays games. Whether you've played games for years or never played a game before, this game can be played by just about anyone. And you know what? I think I'm okay with that. To be fair, the game does up the challenge a little in some of the later worlds, but nothing too crazy. Also, you can fall to your doom in this game, and you know what? It's not important how I know that. There is also a level dedicated to a boss fight at the end of each world. The bosses are fun, and it is satisfying to beat them up, and also before the fight you have a selection of copy abilities to choose from before you go into battle, which is a nice option to have. After a decent amount of time playing the game, I learned that Kirby can do a dance-like dodge move. This is really fun to do. I don't know why he looks so serious, but it's funny. As far as I'm aware, the game never explains how to pull off this move during gameplay. I would have thought that there would be a quick tutorial or something to explain how to use the move. Well, whatever. I'm just going to enjoy spinning around on an inner tube now. So the game runs at 30 frames per second. This can be considered bad, but I can't really tell a real problem. I experienced some frame rate drops, but it was pretty uncommon. Overall, I'd say the frame rate was running pretty good for me. I don't know why the frame rate isn't a problem for me. Maybe my vision just runs at 30 frames or less. Now that I think about it, it does feel like I've seen frames come in at a pretty slow rate before. Overall, I really like Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Everything the game does is executed pretty well. If I got a game over for every time I smiled in real life while playing this Kirby game, I would probably be the worst Kirby player to ever exist. Oh, I remember that thing now. I forgot to drink water in the past few days, so I was going to drink some. But if Kirby has taught me anything, is that drinking water can be dangerous. So you know what? I don't think I'm going to drink any water. So it turns out that I forgot about something called dehydration.